All right. Good evening, Who That Nation. Welcome to the WDN Chatline podcast. It's the host CB, and I'm here with my co-host, the MOD. MOD, what it do, fam?
What it do, what it do. Let's see what it do if it do what it does.
Who That Nation, man? We back in the building with another great episode coming up. I hope you guys have been having a wonderful past couple of weeks since we've been on. The Saints have been getting busy. We like that. We're glad that they can maneuver around a little bit more freely than the usual past years with just giving these little 1 year vet deals out to everybody. So feels good on that end. But things have been going good my way. I do want to say, just excuse the background, man. The lighting is not good, but it's all good though. We come here to, do a show, um, and that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get to the comment section. We're gonna shout you guys out as the show goes on, and then we're gonna get this thing going. See, we got the big bro in the building, Jerry. Jerry, what's good with you, fam?
What's good, Jerry? What's happening with you, bro? Yeah.
Shout out to the NOLA Chalk Podcast here, brother CB and brother Uptown. What's showing, family? Hey man, we showing good, fam. We showing good.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And we'll post comments up as the show goes on. But once again, please post your comments. As far as the phone lines, we'll see how things going. Probably gonna have to omit that on tonight's show, but trust and believe it. I'm not capping. I know it's been a couple of weeks, about good 3 weeks since the last show. Really had been too busy in free agency the past few weeks since they went on that splurge at the beginning, but free agency is approaching. Want to say happy draft month to you all. I know my brother happy uptown, and I'm excited as well. So that's
Yep.
what we're gonna do tonight, and then just give a chirp a little bit on the few minor things we've been seeing with the Saints team and a few comments at the owners meeting. I do want to chop up on one thing coming from that owners meeting. So we can go ahead and get started before we get in the draft, man. Let me just read the few minor things we've been doing the past couple of weeks, and then I want to get on one topic, and then if Uptown want to get on something else, besides the draft, he can, and then we'll go to this draft talk. But far as Brian Brzee, they picked up his 5th year option. So he gonna be getting about 13 million in 2027. So this year it's gonna be the last year his rookie year, and then they gonna give him that 5th year. I say he deserved that. We signed Zach Wilson to a 1 year contract. So what does that mean for Spencer Rattler? I hope he get his opportunity. Um, and then other than that, um, that's been pretty much it. Will Clapp, he done joined the coaching staff, and that's been pretty much it.
Yeah, we signed too. We did sign a quarterback too.
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Zach Wilson. So
So we'll see what happens on that, far as with the whole Spencer Rattler thing. But the thing I want to just chirp on, and I want your opinion on this, Uptown. I'll say my little splurge, then you can go ahead. But the owners meeting, man. Kellen Moore was asked about the situation with Alvin Kamara, and he
yeah.
said that he absolutely would love to see Alvin Kamara in that backfield with Travis. Um, I'm gonna say Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Excuse me, man. I don't got that. I don't got that voice. For the
You
for the
pronounce
radio.
it right. You pronounce it the right way. That's how you pronounce
Yeah. So him and Etienne, he would love to see that duo. Now I'm gonna just say this on Kamara's half. Now we just gotta have a up and personal, honest conversation about Kamara. The Russian has not been there. Is it due to him declining, or has it been due to nicked up injuries? I'm gonna say it's more on the nicked up injuries. Now, with that being said, though, I think AK still has that burst that he had back in 2021. I don't believe so. When Drew and them was here, I don't believe he had that burst no more. Do I believe he can still be an exceptional compliment running back? Absolutely. Now he's seen the humbleness that Mark Ingram had to take when he came on board, because it was Mark Ingram. He was, even though we still had a running back committee going, but Mark Ingram did have to humble himself and get a reduction in snaps. Now AK was able to see that, and he seen how it flowed. If I'm AK, unless he think he can go get a bag, or I don't know where his mindset is, but if I'm AK and I'm looking at, okay, what's the possibility? What's the state of the NFC South? You got to look at that, because you can say, "Oh, I want to go to a contender, this or that." Well, far as the division, it's really fair game, and I'm not gonna make no predictions or nothing like that. It's too early for that. I'm just saying, it's literally fair game. So we got a good of amount chance as any team in the division to get to the postseason. Then once the postseason get here, it is what it is. But with that being said, you're not coming into a situation where we're fighting for another high draft pick. That's not what this is looking like going into this season. And just the division alone is going to give us that grace. If I'm AK, I would look in the mirror and be like, "Hey man, I remember when Big Bro Mark Ingram humbled himself. He allowed me to take that number one running back role, and he humbled himself, and he was still in the midst, but it was still my show. He ain't chirp, complain, why not like that. So, now, I may need to do that. I may need to do that. I can still stay in New Orleans, possibly retire in New Orleans, and let A Chain, take the boatload of the snaps, and I just come in and rotate.
Yeah.
If this plays out like this, we still got a long off season. We will be competing for the division, and that's at minimum. We will have a top explosive offense in this league. Well, I'll just say running back committee. Definitely, we will have one of the best in the NFL, because if we limit AK snaps, that's going to keep him more healthier. You remember last year, man? It was times where they were just giving AK the ball. I mean, just pounding them, pounds, because he was all we had, honestly. Because
Mm-hmm.
Alave and them was not producing like that at that time. So how's you feeling on that situation? How you think that will play out?
Um, I'm thinking it's gonna play out in one or two ways. Either they gonna, and I think that management have something to do with this too. I don't think that it's just a decision, just based on AK. That either they're gonna allow him to play his, because I think he wants to play, and I think he wants to play for us. They're gonna allow him to play out his last year of his contract, with the team, or they're gonna look at, cutting him. They already put, protections in place in case they cut him and all that, where it wouldn't hurt the team. So that's gonna play out in one or two ways. You know, um, I would like to see him stay here, and we have that two-headed, monster with him and A Chain. You understand? I really would love that to happen. I think the fans want that to happen too. But is that the will of management? Is that the will of the coaching staff? I don't know. I get mixed signals and stuff from Kellen Moore when he talk about him. You know, in certain ways, I feel, like he wants him to stay around. In certain ways, I feel like he's indifferent, to the whole thing whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So, like, You know, he. I know that because of management and stuff like that, but he did not say at one time, at any time, that hey, look, he's definitely coming back. He's definitely this, that, and the third or whatever. He haven't said that. He said stuff about how much we love Alvin, and we love all the things that Alvin can do, and that kind of fluffy stuff. You know what I'm saying? That don't really stick one way or the other. So
Right.
that makes me think that this is either on the coaching staff or management. That's their decisions. More so than AK decision. I think AK wants to be here. He wants to be with the Saints. I think he wants to at least play his last year out. He he have said on so many different occasions that he does not want to play for another team. That after he leave the Saints, that he's looking to retire. So if that's the case, man, just let him play his last year out. You know, let him get it in. You know what I'm saying? So that would be the proper way to treat a player like him that has been a beacon to the Saints organization ever since he got here. So I'm all for him playing his last year out, which would be the last year of his contract. Which sounds more like that's business too. What we talking about is business, and it's the football team, and just let him play his last year out, man. You know what I'm saying? And then I know we got a couple of other little running backs and stuff. Like we still got Neil to come back. Hopefully, you know, my man can come back from yet another injury, Kendre Miller. We still got Austin Estimate. He's still on the team. I think I was encouraged with what we saw from him last season in the limited time that we saw him play. So, that's what it is. And just let it do what it do. Just let him do him for his last year. And if he, wants to retire after that, I mean, we wouldn't have no obligation to him after this. He wouldn't have any obligation to us. So if you want to go play for somebody else, he can go play for somebody else, and you know, and and that'll be just it. But I'm all for letting him play his last year out. But I think that decision, and this is not what I'm saying. Conclusion. I don't think that decision is totally up to him. I think it's up to either coaching and management, or both coaching and management.
Agreed. I do want to mention, I forgot about this move. They brought in Ty Chandler from the Vikings, the running back.
Hmm.
Oh, maybe
Yeah, this.
that may be the backup they want to back up HN. So I
It
don't
could
know,
be.
man.
It could be a possibility, man. I'm just saying, let's deal with this with a little respect, man. You know what I'm saying? Just let him play his last year of the contract out. You know, it's like the way the thing structured. They restructured it where he practically got all his money already. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
let's just so it's not like it's going to hurt us financially if we already done paid him. You know what I'm saying? So just let him play his last year of his contract out, man. That's the way I see it, man. And like I say, I don't think that decision is based upon. I think AK wants to come back. I think this decision is being fueled, like I say, by coaching or management or both. You know,
Facts. I'm gonna read these two comments and then we can move on.
right?
Shout out to I got JT said he said Kendra won't make this team, and then he also said I'm ready for Neil to make his move and be running back too.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, man. With Neil. But let me tell you something, bro. We've been doing this for a few years now. You know this, CV. Every time we think that Kendra won't make the team and all that kind of stuff, right? What did he do? He ended up making the damn team.
Yep.
And we really thought last season was like, I know he's out of here now. I just know he's gone. New coaching staff. They ain't putting up with that BS. All this, that, and the third. No, he made the team. And he was doing quite well. You know, I remember that Buffalo game. He looked really, really good in that Buffalo game. But the same thing that afflicts him is what's been afflicting him ever since he's been in the league. He just can't stay healthy. You know, I done lost all faith in him in terms of that. I mean, all faith too, CB.
Yes.
I put it like this, JT. It's a possibility that he gonna do enough in training camp to make the team. Okay, because that's what he always do. And then he's gonna probably get injured again. I don't even like to say that mojo on people, CB. But come on, bro. Come on, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes, bro, you just gotta call it for what it is and not for what you want it to be. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, he'll probably make the team, do good enough in training camp to make the team, probably do good enough to try, because really, in a perfect world, just Lisa, this is what I'm saying. In a perfect world, we want A Chain and Kendrick Miller would be that guy that we would want to come in. Because he's that bang bang. You know what I'm saying? But how you gonna be, having this dude come in when we know that this is an imperfect world and he stays injured. And he just come off from this is the worst injury that he had since he been a Saint. So it's a possibility, like I say, JT, that he may do enough to make the team, and then some gonna get injured, a finger or whatever, man. I mean, whatever. I just suspect, that from him now. I'm sorry.
Facts.
So what we got on the next leisure?
Okay, so we can go ahead and go to draft talk. I mean, far as the team, I mean it's kind of where it's at right now. Really nothing major. This doesn't happen with the team. Like I said, the stuff I read out, that's pretty much where the team is at right now. So
I've been
really,
hearing the same stuff, man. Like, when they first started talking about this draft thing, it was mostly them talking about us getting edge rusher at first. At first, that was really the thing, the Reuben Baines, the Baileys, the David Baileys and stuff. Then after the combine and all that stuff, the Sonny Styles and all them, they started popping up and all that, right? And then at one point in time, people just knew that we were going to get Jeremiah Love. But from all the indications that I've seen, all the mock drafts and all the people that's talking, Jeremiah Love will not make it past the Tennessee Titans. Damn near every mock draft I've seen, I see the Tennessee Titans. I think it's probably a bad and like the worst kept secret is that the Tennessee Titans intend on drafting Jeremiah Love. Okay. Now, recently, what I've been seeing us linked to two particular players. Um, who is this man?
oh,
Who's this?
Cornell Tate.
No. I've been seeing them linked to Mansour Delane and Caleb Downs. I was looking at this comment they got down here by XN, whoever this dude is. You know, You can just go ahead and get him out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Handle mods handle that. You know, there ain't nobody got time for that, bro. You're lucky. You're lucky that I really ain't got time to really play around with you, whoever you are. 'Cause, everybody knows I'm real good at that. I'm real good at dealing with trolls and stuff.
But your
But
last comment, that's pretty much. I just got him up out of here, but the last comment is that pretty much
mm-hmm,
show where you at, bro. But,
mm-hmm,
mm.
ain't got
Man,
nothing to
shout
do.
out to Calvin Washington 492. Man, I accidentally clicked on him, man, and got him up out of here. I gotta get him back in here. But shout out
Mhm.
to Calvin Washington 492 said who that from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. We didn't mean to get you out, bro.
Let's
Shouts out to you, man, in Arizona. But
but
yeah, so,
I wanna
but
I
this,
wanna ask you, Uptown,
yeah,
and we can get into this. I know they done had us linked to other positions and stuff, but I'm gonna be honest, man. Like after this draft and stuff, and where we're at now, going into this draft, what do you think is position like the main? What position stands out as the position of need? What do
um,
you think?
if you're gonna say if we, do you mean need? You mean absolute need?
Need, yes, like cornerback,
Yeah, yeah, we need a cornerback
or
and or
or
something. Yeah, a corner. Now, the reason why I wouldn't, I lobby more for say Caleb Downs because he can play safety and he can play corner. Believe it or not, okay. And I also think that he would be the perfect person to slide into that role that Alante Taylor played. That Jack role. Okay, I think it would be perfect for that. However, right, if for some reason that Caleb Downs is not there at number 8, when we draft number 8, I think we should seriously think about drafting Mansour Delaney.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm saying that even though I was encouraged by the play, especially later in the season, of Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley. I really was. I thought as the season progressed that they started looking better. Kool-Aid started kind of rough. Then he looked good and plateaued a little bit. And then I think at the end of the season, they was looking really, really, really good to me. You know. But I think this guy, Delane, because y'all know anyway. In case people don't know, I'm also an LSU fan, and this dude is an awesome player, man. You know, and he's probably one of those. I think he has the ability to be locked down. You heard what I say, CB? Locked
yes,
down. You understand? Well, ain't nobody trying to throw his way. You know, he can take whatever particular receiver out of the game. I do think that this man has that kind of ability about himself. However, right, that Downs is just special, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's a special cat, bro. You can't get it. This dude is something unreal. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to it, he started as a freshman. Underneath Nick Saban. And Nick Saban was like, he knew that he was going to start, practically from the time that he got on campus. Um, I see my man JT say Ruiz and McCoy. We need a center and a right guard. Um, I don't think that's high on the priority list, you know, and because they feel like they already addressed the guard. I seriously think that they are really thinking about maybe going back in this season, and unfortunately, the contract precludes it. That they're gonna have to go with Ruiz, but I'm hoping that somebody will beat him out in training camp. Remember, we re-signed Dalen Radens. We re-signed him. We got Torricelli Simpkins. You understand? And the dude on Radons, he actually plays on the right side. We just had him playing on the left side after we got rid of, Trevor Penny. You know, he actually plays on the right side. Maybe he can push Caesar. Maybe the competition would make him play better, at right guard or whatever. Maybe. But I know one thing, right? That if I'm the Saints, I would try it, just if this dude is still around. Or maybe this dude can make it to the second round. There's a guard that plays for Notre Dame. Man, this dude is the truth, you know. And I think that this somebody that they can draft, that he can come in and start from day one. But the scenario would be for that is to select whoever you want to select at 8. If this man so happen to fall to the second round, you can wait. But if it looks like that's not where it's going, see if you can sneak back into the back end of the first round. You know, that shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to give up anything tremendous, for that opportunity. So that's what I say to do, So we're gonna see how this all plays out, man. But like, as far as center is concerned, too, I gotta admit this, and we have to, if you really know football and you know the Saints team, when healthy, that dude Eric McCoy is like a top 5 center in the NFL.
Oh
Key
yeah.
is, the key is when healthy.
Yep.
You know. Now, I do think that we need to address the backup center position in the event that he becomes injured again, because the backup center that we had, he signed with another team. You know, so I think that would be something that they can look at, and you can probably get somebody that play that position later on in the draft. You know, but just like I'm not really a big fan, although I think Cornell Tate gonna be a great receiver. I think Jordan Tyson may be a great receiver. But this particular draft is deep at receiver and edge rusher. So that's why I'm not really for going get no wide receiver in the first round of the draft, especially when you can find value in the second round. I can identify about 15 receivers that that can, that are pretty good in this draft this season. And that's a lot right there, CB. You know, 15 receivers.
Yes.
So I'm not in. So this is one of those years that I don't think that, drafting a receiver high, would net you the greatest value, you know.
That's why in this position, I know Cornell Tate, it's a guy. You got him, you got Jalen Tyson. I know it's some, top receivers that they're looking at, but I'm gonna just be honest, man. If I'm not comfortable with Kool-Aid as our number one. I know
Yeah.
we got off this season, and I know he, towards the end he stepped up a little bit, but I'm not comfortable. I can't step my chest out and say, throw me your number one receiver. I got my dog in Kool-Aid on the island.
Mhm.
Let's get it. I'm not ready to do that. I was able to do that with Sean, but Kool-Aid, I'm not at that point yet. Quincy, that he going into a second year, so we'll see how that plays out. But this guy from LSU, like he's the skill set that he has. He can be a day one lockdown corner. Um, he definitely will be starting cornerback. We need to get that guy like we had with Shine, that you can throw your number one out there and Imano Imano, let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
We might have that in Quincy. I just know with Kool-Aid, um, even when he start playing good, I don't trust it enough to say, throw your number one, my guy gonna go get it. I'm not. He didn't show me that in none of his games, honestly. So if he's there at 8, I would say, well, let's just go ahead and get him. And like you said, the receiver class is good this year. And then you see you got Tyler Shuck, you got a guy like a Chris Bell that was valued. Before he got hurt, he was valued to get drafted in the first round, about mid to maybe later first round. Like
Yeah,
if Shuck really liked that guy,
yeah,
due to his injury, he may that may slide him down. It will slide him down to
we'll
the
slide him
bottom
down.
of the first. So we can
Or
we can
maybe I've been seeing second round grades on him.
yeah. So at best he may get in at the bottom of the first, but I'm just saying, like, just a cat like him, because we got our guy in Olave, so why we shouldn't be trying to search for a number one. I mean, yeah, do we need a big body receiver? Yeah, but we shouldn't be like, begging for a first, or like, just drooling for a number one target. We got that. We got that in Olave. We just need to get him a compliment, and I don't think we have to do that at 8, especially when
And
he
then
got dog at LSU right there that we need, because we don't have that guy. I don't think so. Not at the moment. The Quincy may develop into that. If so, then you'll have a 1-2 down there. But at the moment, I don't see it. I don't see it in Kool-Aid. I don't.
with there's another caveat too, right? Like I remember we got this guy that was from Canada, wide receiver. We remember people don't people may forget. We did have Jalen Pope. We remember
Yep.
we traded and got him. The Villy is still in that room. Remember Palmer? People forgot about him. You understand? So like, you know, they got a plethora of wide receivers and stuff now. Are some of those wide receivers just good depth? They could be, you know, but some of those players that can come in and make impact, you know, that could be a possibility too. I'm pretty sure that when they got these guys, that they envisioned a role, some type of a role for them. You know, Bailey ended up playing good until he got injured. Um, I like to see what Jalen Polk looked like in this offense, because remember, people forget that he was a first round pick. You know, he ended up at New England, but New England had been a mess. Them going to the Super Bowl. Okay, yeah, they went to the Super Bowl last season, but that was a mess over there. Prior to them, hiring Vrabel and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that we also have to think about that too. Like this coaching staff might really believe in these guys. For all we know. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a consideration too. That's why I'm like, and the only reason why I'm like really on the defensive side is because that's where really the cornerback now is one of our highest needs, because we just lost Alante. You know what I'm saying? So, and in free agency, we mostly shored up or tried to help the offense. The only defensive player that we signed in free agency was Caden Ellis. So like we got to give the defense some love in this draft. It got to be, something, that can help improve the defense. We got to do something in terms of this defense. I just hope that they don't reach, for no edge runner, edge rusher, nothing like that, because I haven't been hearing the best of things from this Ruben Bain dude, since that he didn't really look good in the combine, and I heard that his pro day wasn't that good either. You know what I'm saying? So like, as a matter of fact, they're saying that the dude that played on the opposite side of him has looked better. So like I say, we can find edge rusher. I think we can find edge rusher if we're really looking for it in the second or the third round, if that's the case. And I also feel that way about wide receiver. Okay. But if Caleb Downs is there, which is a unicorn, okay, or Monsieur Delane, we need to pull that trigger. We need to pull that trigger. And like, let them go. This is what I say, right? Let them all go into camp, compete. You understand? Compete at the highest degree or whatever. And whoever make it, you understand, they will be the starters. Cornerback 1, cornerback 2. But they're gonna have to identify this soon. Because whoever that third guy is, he may have to play the role that Alante Taylor played. I don't know if Kool-Aid can play that role. I think if needed, I think Quincy Riley probably can play that role. But I'm not too sure about him either. I heard them talking about Blackman, them putting Blackman in there. And I ain't too enthusiastic about that because I would not want him to have to cover no receivers and stuff out the slot.
Right.
So,
And I forgot we brought him back. I forgot all about that.
yeah. Well, he signed I think like a 2-year contract with us, and he got injured. First game of the season. That's why Jonas Sankier, had to come in and play the remainder of the season. And I'm not a good, a big fan. I hope that they don't try and, demote Sankier because Blackman is back. I hope that don't happen.
Right.
So that's the way it's looking. Now, if we can get into, let me see what we got here because I looked this up earlier, right? We got the second round pick. I think the first 4 picks we got is at least in 100. The first 132 picks, or whatever, like something like that. We got a third round pick, 2 fourth rounds, 2 fifth rounds, and a 6. And the second round pick that we got is 42nd overall, which isn't bad at all. So like, we have the opportunity, man, to take and improve this team in a variety of different ways if they real clever about how they draft and, the players that's going to be available, later on in those rounds. I think we should be able to at least get value with our first, second, and third, and perhaps at least one of our fourth round picks. I'm not going to put myself on the line and say that we're going to hit like we hit last season. That only happens, once every so often. But if we can get 2, maybe 3 good players out this draft, I'll be satisfied. I really would be satisfied, fam. We ain't got to hit last season. We, for lack of a better term, we kind of hit the lottery last season. All them boys was about it. But I don't think that, you can't, I don't see lightning, striking in the same place, twice like that. So I'm thinking that maybe we hit on two, maybe three in this draft. And if we do that, I think that would be well worth it. Two or three players, out of what that is. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Out of 8 draft picks, you understand that will have to do. I would like to at least hit on half of them, but I'm a realist though. You know, 2 or 3 would be, just fine with me. You know,
Right.
so that's where it's heading to, man. So we got that going on, and also I won't say this right so that we don't forget anything. Like we did sign a quarterback in Zach Wilson. Um, I see that in 2 different ways here. CB, either they were not satisfied or are not satisfied with having Spencer Rattler as the backup, okay, or they doing this to try and have some competition, so that Spencer Rattler can be more of the backup, or they perhaps thinking about trading Spencer Rattler as well. You know,
Right.
um, I know they said last season, which kind of in a way it didn't really matter, but I know how they said you like to have a veteran backup. Kind of in a way, he is a veteran now, believe it or not. I think that's 6 years. What is 6 years he been in the league now? I think he came in the league the same year as Sam Darnold. So it's
Yeah,
about
Zach
6 years.
Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, that he been in the league. So I guess that would qualify him as a veteran. Somebody that Tyler can come off the field and swap some ideas or something. Hey, bro, what did you see? Or what you see? Maybe I saw this, and one of them numbers. You know, but I don't really expect much of Zach Wilson, and we shall hope not to ever see him play because that means that something has gone really, really bad for us. So it ain't really no big deal. I think the only person that should be really concerned about this signing is Spencer Rattler. You
Yeah.
know,
Hopefully it turns out to be a good thing for Rattler. 'Cause I think Rattler deserved to compete on another ball club for a backup role or to start. I mean, I don't know how QB situations looking with these other teams. I know the Jets, yeah, they talking about Gino, but I mean, let's just keep it hot. Gino, he turned it around after a few years, went to Seattle, turned it around, and then went to the Raiders.
and then became
Bad
Jam
situation.
Gino
Yep.
again.
So I don't know what you're gonna get. I think that'll be a good situation for Rattler to go
I'm
to.
thinking, what I'm thinking, bro? What I think may be a good scenario for him if he can do it, or that makes sense to me, if him going to Arizona. Remember, that's where he's from. He's from Arizona.
Right.
You know, then plus Arizona does have a need at quarterback. Currently, they talking about starting Jacoby Brister. You understand? They got him as starter right now. Maybe Spencer deserves to go there and see if he can beat out Jacoby Brister. Why not? You know, I think he
Right.
has just as much as a good chance at beating him out as anybody else because unfortunately, bro, just I'm just gonna be honest because me and you started off. We was with Spencer. We was with Spencer. We was doing the right thing, But like Charlie's better than you, bro. It's just the truth. He's better than you. As a matter of fact, Tyler is so good. I see elite traits in his play. I ain't saying that he's elite, but I see elite traits in his play. You understand? And that was just as a rookie. So this team, this city, this organization, they all on Tyler on the Tyler, Shuck, bandwagon, and so am I. So like if that's what you want to do, bro, go take your shot. I think your best shot will be Arizona because then that fan base can rally behind you too, being a hometown boy. You understand? So that's where I put it with that, bro. I just hope like that he's he keep he don't let fall himself or let his play fall now just because they bought in a little competition. They might have did that to see if you're gonna sulk or whatever. You understand? But it is what it is, bro. And I don't find nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, why y'all bringing in competition to go against Tyler? Y'all should be bringing in some competition to go against Caesar ass.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah, I forgot. Just thinking about it, I forgot. The backup center we traded from the Jazz. He in Carolina now.
yeah,
So we gotta address at least depth wise. I ain't
yeah,
saying. I mean, at center we need to get depth behind McCoy. Now,
yeah.
for me to conclude, like, nah, he needs to get replaced. He on this last straw with me now. Yeah, if we sit here at week 2, week 3 again, the guy has some type of injury that's gonna have him out 8 weeks, then yes, it's time to start looking elsewhere. But
I believe too, right, that Mickey Loomis is tired of that too. Because if you notice and stuff, when he did that, that kind of like that end of the year press conference, that he did, he alluded to that. He specifically said that about, that Eric McCoy needs to stay healthy. I think the organization is getting tired of it too. So like, I don't know what to say as far as he is concerned. I don't know, you know, um, what can he do? What is he not doing? To keep himself healthy or whatever. But he got to find something, bro. You got to find something, man. Whether it's maybe take a little weight on, put a little weight on. I don't know, bro. All I know is that every time when he get these injuries, man, these injuries be like all his injuries, bro, be season ending. You know,
yeah,
he get injured, it don't be like he out for a couple of weeks or something like that or whatever. Missed 3 or 4 games. He'll end up missing the whole damn season.
yeah,
So, but like I told somebody earlier today, bro, a friend of mine who's also a good a Saints fan, that like every year, bro, every team is rolling some kind of dice, bro. We all rolling some dice, CB.
yes,
The dice that we rolling, bro, is that we rolling the dice, hoping that McCoy can stay injury free this season. And we roll the dice because we restructured his contract, okay, which means that we're gonna be he's gonna be around at least another an extra year than what we had. All right, and so that's why it's a total roll of the dice, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because like if he gets injured again and it's a long term injury, that means that we crap out, bro. You know, and then they're gonna really have to think about doing something going forward and stuff in terms of him. So I know we don't have that much time tonight. I think we should be winding it down about now, if I'm correct. I just still
Yeah,
looking at.
I mean, pretty much, up to this point, just a lot of draft stuff going on. Um,
Mhm.
man, I've been trying to add that guy back in, to be honest, but is what it is. I'll get him back in here for the next show.
I don't know if you're listening, Calvin, bro. We didn't mean to do that, bro, to you.
Yeah,
Just know if you're still listening, no disrespect. No disrespect to you. Right? We
right.
just had another clown, and it was done by accident. Don't take it to heart.
But yeah, man, I mean that's basically it for the night. Uptown, man, you got any final thoughts before I wrap the show up?
My final thoughts is, man, y'all know the draft is coming up soon. I guess everybody done said everything that they could say about it now. All the stuff I'm starting to hear now starting to sound like some regurgitated stuff. You know, I'm just, looking forward to draft night so that we can see what's going on and we can, see, at least get an idea on what the personnel going to be like on this team. I done heard so many stuff. It started off with us drafting, wide receivers to edge rushers to safeties, cornerbacks, the likes, even running back, at one point in time when the Jeremiah Love thing was off, But, it's time, in what I think in maybe 2 weeks from today should be the draft, you know. So
Right.
then we'll find out, what's going on, what kind of team we got, and all that kind of stuff. We apologize tonight for not being able to take phone calls, but we guarantee you that on the next time that we are on, that we would do as we normally do, take calls and stuff from the public. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and that's
Who
all I
that?
really have to say.
Okay, okay. Who that nation? I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I see Jerry said Calvin. All right, he a Saints fan. He good. Okay, fam. Well, if you can reach out to him for us, man, just let him know. I know he tuning in from Arizona, man. We definitely appreciate that, man.
Hmm.
Um, but yes, who that nation, man. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show tonight. We will be doing a couple of more shows. I do want to do like a pre-draft show to where we use the simulator and um
Yeah.
when the person gets selected we'll chirp it up. But I don't want to do that just yet because it's still early. But um really I say me and you are talking and get a date, but I say like early next week, maybe Monday or so. We can do a show where we take calls and just talk with the fans,
Yeah.
and, just get they just chirp on the comments, just a little, Saints hangout session.
Hmm.
I know, we got guys that want to call in and chirp and stuff, but who that nation, you guys just please like, subscribe, follow the page, and until then, we'll see you guys soon. This is the WDN Chatline podcast, and we out. Who that?
Who that, baby? For life. Yeah, get with me, CBZ. If you want